Welcome back. Today we're talking about something, well, literally foundational to our modern world.
Absolutely metal.
Metal fabrication, specifically. The framework for cars, buildings. It's everywhere.
It really is. And the scale of this industry, it's surprisingly big.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye. The report we're looking at estimates the global market at what, USD 24.86 billion just for 2025?
That's the number.
Yeah.
A massive figure.
So let's define that quickly for everyone. Metal fabrication, that's basically taking raw metal
Right. Sheets, tubes, bars.
and then cutting it, bending it, welding it.
Exactly. Assembling it into the final products or components we use.
Yeah.
It's fundamental across, well, countless industries.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive is to unpack what's happening in this huge market. We want to understand the current state, future trends.
Based on this recent global market report we've been digging into.
Right, that's our main source today. A pretty detailed analysis.
It offers a good look at the numbers, the trends, the forces shaping things.
Okay, let's jump into those numbers. That USD 24.86 billion for 2025 is our starting point. Where does the report see this going?
It's projecting quite significant growth, up to USD 37.293 billion by 2033.
Wow, okay, that's a big jump. What kind of growth rate are we talking about?
That works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 5.2% between 2025 and 2033. Pretty solid, steady growth.
And what's driving that 5.2%?
Well, the report highlights a couple of key things. First, there's this growing demand for really customized metal products.
Things engineered with high precision.
Exactly. Think specialized machine parts, unique construction elements, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And second, there's the whole trend of increased automation in manufacturing itself.
So the robots need metal parts too.
Pretty much. Building those automated systems requires a lot of fabricated metal.
Right, that makes sense. It feeds itself, in a way. More demand for specific goods, and the way we make them also drives demand.
Precisely.
Now, global growth is never even, is it? How does this break down by region? Where's the action happening?
Good question. North America is actually the heavyweight right now. It holds the biggest slice of the pie.
How big?
Over 40% of the total market in 2025. That translates to about USD 9.1982 billion.
Okay, dominant share. But what about its growth rate? Is it keeping pace?
It's growing, but a bit more moderately. The projected CAGR there is 3.7% through to 2033.
Still decent growth. What's the foundation for that strength in North America?
The report points to its, really established industrial base and quite advanced manufacturing facilities.
Makes sense. And within North America?
Yeah.
U.S., Canada, Mexico.
Right. The U.S. is the giant within the region. USD 7.2574 billion in 2025, growing at about 3.5%.
Okay.
Canada's smaller, USD 1.1038 billion, but growing slightly faster at 4.5% CGR. And Mexico's around USD 837 million, with a 4.2% growth rate.
Interesting variations even within the region. So North America is the biggest now, but who's growing the fastest? Where's the real dynamism?
For that, you need to look at the Asia-Pacific region,
Right.
APAC.
Okay. What are their numbers?
In 2025, APAC holds about 23% of the market, so roughly USD 5.9664 billion.
Still significant.
But the key number is the growth. The projected CAGR is 7.9%. That's easily the fastest growing region.
Wow, 7.9%. That's more than double North America's rate. What's fueling that kind of expansion in Asia Pacific?
It really comes down to rapid industrialization and urbanization across many countries there.
China, I assume, plays a big role.
Absolutely. China's market is huge, around USD 2.5 billion in 2025, growing at 7.4%. Very strong.
But is that the fastest national growth?
Actually, no. The report highlights India as having the fastest national CAGR.
Really? What's India's rate?
An impressive 9.8%, from a 2025 base of about USD 596.6 million.
Nearly 10% a year. What's driving that specifically in India?
Two big things mentioned are major railway expansion projects, which need a ton of fabricated metal, and the government's Make in India push.
Promoting domestic manufacturing.
Exactly. Those policies seem to be having a real direct impact on the fabrication sector there.
Okay, so North America. Large, steady. APAC, booming, led by India's percentage growth. What about Europe? Where does it sit?
Europe's the second largest market globally. It accounts for just over 30% in 2025.
And the size?
Around USD 7.2094 billion in 2025. Its growth is solid too, with a projected CAGR of 4.3%.
So sitting between North America and APAC in terms of growth rate, are there big differences within Europe, say UK, Germany?
Oh yes, the UK is interesting. It's about USD 1.2 billion in 2025, but with a strong 5.1% CAGR.
Why so strong in the UK?
The report links that to investments in renewable energy, particularly offshore wind farms. Lots of metal needed there.
Right, big structures. And Germany.
Germany, with its industrial power and automotive sector, is larger, USD 1.4 billion, growing at 4.5%. Russia is mentioned too, around USD 1.1 billion, but with slower growth, 3.3% CGR. So different economic drivers are definitely at play across Europe.
Clear variations there. Okay, let's quickly touch on the other regions. South America, Middle East, Africa. What's the picture?
South America makes up just over 5% of the market, about USD 944.7 million in 2025, growing at a healthy 5.9% CAGR.
Any standouts there?
Brazil is the largest, around USD 404 million, growing at 6.5%, largely thanks to oil and gas.
Yeah.
Argentina is smaller, USD 158 million, but growing faster at 6.8%, linked to automotive.
Okay, Middle East.
Middle East is about 2% of the market, just under $1 billion, USD 994.4 million. But the growth rate is strong, 6.5% CAGR.
Driven by?
Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 mega projects are a big factor. Its market is USD 350 million, growing at 6.8%. The UAE is also strong, USD 204 million, with 7% growth.
Impressive growth rates.
In Africa holds the smallest share, around 1%, roughly USD 546.9 million in 2025. The CAGR is 5.5%.
And within Africa?
South Africa's key with its mining sector. It's about USD 192.5 million, growing at 6.4%. So yeah, specific regional economies and industries are really shaping the picture everywhere.
It's fascinating how tightly linked this industry is to broader economic activity. Okay, we've touched on some drivers like automation and customization. Let's dig into those key global growth factors a bit more.
Sure. So beyond those points, the report really emphasizes the ongoing global expansion in construction and infrastructure.
Just building stuff, basically.
Exactly. New buildings, bridges, roads, they all consume enormous amounts of fabricated metal, especially steel. It's a fundamental driver.
Makes sense. What else?
Another big one is the demand for lightweight materials. We mentioned it briefly before.
Right, especially in automotive and aerospace.
Precisely. Think aluminum, titanium, high-strength steels. Manufacturers are pushing hard for these to improve fuel efficiency, reduce emissions, boost performance.
That trend seems unstoppable. Lighter, stronger.
Definitely. And then circling back to automation and robotics.
Yes, the Industry 4.0 element.
Right. The report highlights the increasing adoption of things like CNC machines, these computer-controlled tools for super precise work.
And robotic welding, laser cutters.
All of that. Plus, the broader integration of digital tech, connecting everything up. This not only makes production more efficient,
but it also, as you said, creates more demand for fabricated parts for those systems.
Exactly. It's a reinforcing cycle.
Now, it can't all be smooth sailing. Are there any brakes on this growth? Any restraints mentioned?
Yes. There's one major one highlighted. The cost.
Cost of all this new tech.
Exactly. The high initial investment needed for modern fabrication equipment for automation.
Yeah.
It's a significant barrier.
Especially for smaller players.
Absolutely. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, often struggle with the upfront capital needed for sophisticated CNC machines or robotic systems.
That's a really important practical point. While the tech is advancing, access isn't universal. Okay, looking ahead now. What are the key trends shaping the future of metal fabrication?
Well, one really transformative trend is the rise of 3D printing or additive manufacturing for metal parts.
We hear a lot about that. How's it impacting this specific industry?
It's allowing for the creation of highly customized, really complex metal components that were difficult or impossible before. This is big in aerospace, automotive, medical devices.
Places where complex, bespoke parts are needed?
Precisely. It's opening up new design possibilities.
Interesting. What other major trends are emerging?
Sustainability is becoming huge. There's a real global shift towards sustainable and, importantly, recyclable metal fabrication.
So, focusing on materials.
Yes, using metals like aluminum, stainless steel, high-strength steels, things that can be recycled effectively. And this is also being pushed by things like green building standards in construction.
Right. Environmental impact is a growing focus everywhere. It makes sense it would hit fabrication too. Okay, let's get more granular. Within fabrication itself, what services are most dominant?
According to the report, machining is still the biggest category.
So milling, drilling, turning.
Yeah, the fundamental processes for precisely shaping and finishing metal parts. It's used across almost all industries.
That fits with the precision demand. And which service is growing fastest?
That would be punching.
Punching, like making holes.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Creating holes or specific shapes in sheet metal, seeing rapid growth because it's very efficient, and automated punching machines are becoming more common.
Where is punching used most?
Electronics, appliances, construction, anywhere. You need lots of precise holes or shapes made quickly in sheet metal.
Interesting. So machining dominates, but automated punching is gaining ground fast. Now, flip side, who are the biggest customers? Which end-use industries are driving demand?
The construction industry is the largest end user. No real surprise there.
Just the sheer volume of steel in buildings and infrastructure.
Exactly. Beams, rebar, structural supports.
Hmm.
It's fundamental to construction worldwide.
Okay, largest is construction, fastest growing end use.
That's the automotive industry.
Ah, back to the cars.
Yeah.
Why the rapid growth there?
It's driven by that demand for lighter, high-performance vehicles we talked about, and by the boom in electric vehicles.
EVs needing new types of components.
Yes, and just the overall increase in EV production volumes and the advanced manufacturing techniques involved, it's putting a lot of demand on metal fabricators.
So lightweighting and the EV revolution are really boosting automotive's need for fabricated metal. Okay, this is a complex global market. Who are the big players? Any recent activity worth noting?
Yeah, the report gives a few examples of recent moves, like Atard Engineering in Australia expanding its CNC services back in September 2022.
Okay.
Same month, Victaulic bought Tennessee Metal Fabricating to boost its infrastructure business. Earlier in 2022, Vulcan Industries acquired Aftec, a sheet metal specialist.
Acquisitions seem common.
They are. Core Industrial Partners bought Richland Metal Fabricators in February 22.
Yeah.
And going back a bit further, Trump EF partnered with Jung Heinrich on logistics solutions for sheet metal fab in late 2020.
So lots of expansion, M&A, partnerships. It sounds like a dynamic space.
Definitely. It shows companies are making strategic moves to position themselves.
And who are some of the sort of top-tier companies mentioned in the report, the big names?
The report lists several major global players. You got giants like ArcelorMittal, ThyssenKrupp AG, Nucor Corporation.
Steel producers mainly.
Many have roots there, yeah. Also Tata Steel, JFE Steel Corporation. And then more diversified industrial companies like ABB Ltd. Are also listed as key players.
Okay, quite a roster of major corporations. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here. Let's try to boil it down. What are the main takeaways from this deep dive?
Okay, so first, the market is undeniably large, nearly $25 billion in 2025, and growing steadily towards over $37 billion by 2033.
Driven by automation and demand for specific materials.
Exactly. Automation in manufacturing, plus the need for customized and lightweight parts. Second, growth varies significantly by region, with Asia-Pacific, especially India, showing the fastest expansion rates.
Right.
Third, key trends like 3D printing and a major push towards sustainability and recyclability are really starting to reshape the industry.
And construction remains the biggest customer, while automotive is the fastest growing one.
You got it. That pretty much sums up the key dynamics.
So a large, evolving industry with clear drivers and regional hotspots. Okay, final thought then for you, our listener. Thinking about all this, the push for customization, the drive for sustainability, the new technologies like 3D printing, how do you think the local metal fabrication shops in your area might need to change?
Yeah. How do they adapt to stay competitive or even thrive over the next 10 years?
Maybe take a look around you today. Think about the metal things you see, the car parts, the building components, even small things. Where did they come from? And what might their journey from raw metal to finished product look like in the future as these global trends play out locally? Something to ponder.